Well, Grezza, we've had you here for 3 hours now. The interviews are still going on. I think we've talked ice baths with Tony Livesey, haircuts with ITV, and penalties with Sky. It's been quite a varied day for you.
It has, yeah. It's there's a lot happens in 20 years, isn't it? So it's been good. You know, I've been amazed by the amount of publicity and interest in what I did. It's been overwhelming, really, the response from everyone. It's been I didn't think it would be this big, but it's been great to be acknowledged by so many people.
How many times in one day can you talk through your career? It's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you feel like you're boring people sometimes, you know, when they're asking you about things, and then you go over and say the same things. But you know, I suppose that's the first time certain people have heard it. But no, I'd rather talk about teams and the team I'm playing in and teammates rather than myself. But no, it's been great. You know, I must admit, the response starting from Saturday, when people see me getting up off the bench to come on, when I could feel the atmosphere change a little bit, and since then it's been amazing.
And making his 1,000 senior career appearance at Turf Moor, please make some noise for Graham Alexander!
Chris Burden, Mr. Burnley, we could call you. Graham Alexander, I mean, what a fantastic career. There's virtually nothing left to say, but have a go.
Well, let's say we've sat down and had 35 minutes of his time, and just speaking to the national lads, I mean, they've sat down and spoke to the great and the good of the game, and I dare say they've enjoyed that as much as any other piece they've done before. He's just you'd like to sit some of the modern day footballers down with Graham Alexander and say, that's why you play football, to get that level of enjoyment out of it, and not all about the trappings of fame and fortune and what have you. It's just a sheer love of the game. It's a delight.
Yeah, you've dealt with a few and seen a few, and he's right up there with the best on all counts, isn't he?
Absolutely. I've been doing the job sort of 17 years now, and there's a few, particularly like Stevie Caldwell, one of his teammates at his time here, but you can only sit back and learn off a character like that. It's only a shame Stan didn't land him in 1998, 99, around that time.
Yeah. But Grezza always wants to be measured as a footballer, of course, not necessarily as a spokesman. And he's been a great player for Burnley, and fingers crossed, still can be.
Certainly, I say you look back, it's an almighty error on Preston's part. They only wanted to offer him a year. Burnley offered him the 2. Probably extended his career in the fact that he, putting him in that midfield role, and Steve Cotterill tried to slot him in there. Of course, Michael Duff ended up injured. He ended up playing right full back, but since he slotted in there in the promotion season, 61 games says it all, that campaign. Magnificent.
I think the biggest topic of discussion though today has definitely been those haircuts behind you on that screen.
Yeah, which is your favourite?
The blonde one catches my eye straight away. I think Tony Livesey described it as it's like a Big Brother contestants lineup.
Yeah, it is. Or convicts lineup, to be fair, looking at some of them. But no,
there's been some shockers, to be fair.
There has. Not many good ones, but it's part of growing up, innit? I don't think I've grown up yet, to be fair, but it's a bit of, you get bored sometimes and try something out. You got to have a zest for life and different things, and try it. If it don't work, which invariably it hasn't, I'll try something else, and I'm still going.
I'm turning the tables. What's your favourite?
My favourite is I actually like that one when I first did it, because I actually stood out a little bit.
Little Dickie Bird told me you and Sean Gregan both dyed your hair over the sink.
Me and Steve Davis.
Oh, Steve,
yeah. But right. Steve bottled it and washed it out straight away, and I kept mine in like an idiot. And but I kept it in for a year, because if I go with something, I'll stick with it for a little bit. But the long hair, I actually enjoyed at the time. It was
that's you going through your Oasis phase, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a little bit. The curtains when I was at Luton, wherever they up there.
Uh-huh.
That was when all the team was bored on a pre-season trip and decided to shave everyone's hair. We went around room to room going, "Do you want a haircut?" There was about 12 of us. If you get the team picture from that year, it was like a prison team. But it's part of being part of a team and having good fun. Yeah.
Just explain to us why you're here and how big an achievement Graham Alexander's achieved.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of journalists here because this has only happened twice, of course. Only 2 outfield players have made 1,000 games. So I've been here with the BBC, ITV here, Sky here, all manner of people. And we're all here for Greza. And I've just been interviewing him for the telly, and I was trying to get out of him that he came in here bawling and crying after Burnley won on Saturday, and his mates gave him a guard of honour and stuff. But he said no, he didn't quite cry. But I think it's sinking in for him now what an amazing achievement this is. And it is, isn't it? When you add it up 1,000 games, I made the point to him that somebody like Jay Rodriguez will look on him as Victor Meldrew. You know, these are young kids with only a handful of games under their belt, and to imagine playing 1,000 is just remarkable.
It is. I think the biggest thing for me is for 20 years he's played 50 games a season, which is incredible. Most people would give anything to play 1 game of professional football, and I think that's how that was his target, play once, and he's a pro.
Yeah.
But he's gone on from there. And you've seen a lot of Burnley players, but he'd right up there amongst the greats.
Absolutely, which is why, again, I was trying to pin him down a little bit in the interview today. You know, next season's critical because his contract runs out this season, and will Burnley only offer him a coaching contract perhaps, and he may be tempted away with the offer to play, I don't know, maybe even at Preston or something like that. And the point I was going to make with that was all the Burnley fans here do see him as a hero and a proper claret and want him on the coaching staff. I think they want his influence because, I mean, my goodness me, if you could handpick someone to influence other young players, you couldn't pick a better player than Greza, could you? Because he's so level-headed. And as he kept saying to me in the interview, all that bothers him is getting on that green pitch when he's working. And that's all. You know, he runs his life to that.
That's something that I'm no doubt you'll take pride of place in your house, and you can look back on that in years to come, and you could even put it with the fireplace and keep the kids away.
Or in the fireplace. No, it was. I think Wade Elliott organised it. It was a fantastic gesture from him. You know, but it's been a little bit embarrassing that everyone has seen it, and even TV cameras have been filming it, which is a nightmare. But
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Cheers. But no, it was little things like that. You know, people have been making gestures to me. You know, messages of goodwill and phone calls, text messages. People just writing about me in papers. It's, you know, I didn't think I'd made that sort of impact on some people. So it's very humbling to get this coming my way. It's been special.
Martin Blackburn from The Sun. You cover all the big stories, but Graham Alexander, that's a big story in its own right.
It certainly is, Pete. Yeah, I mean, he's had such a wonderful career. So many clubs, reaching 1,000 games is a great effort, and I think he'll get plenty of recognition over the next few days, not just locally but nationally, and fully deserved it is too.
Footballers take a bit of stick, and sometimes deservedly so, and on front page of the papers, but Graham Alexander, a perfect professional.
He has been, yeah. He's been very disciplined, hasn't he, in every single way. He's just been telling us about how the game has evolved, but he's been a constant, really, and I think all his managers will say what a great professional he's been, and a great example to anyone who fancies getting into football.
Yeah, we find him great to deal with, but the fact he's just given you half an hour of his time there, you want guys like that in the game, don't you?
It was, yeah. I got the feeling he probably would have stayed for a bit longer as well if we'd have let him. But yeah, he has been he's been a credit, yeah. And when last season in the Premier League, there was a lot of media came along, and he was regularly talking to us, wasn't he? And he looks like he's happy to carry on doing that. Whether it's here or at another club, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of coverage of him last year because of his age in the Premier League, but he's always been quick to point that down almost. He held his own in that league, and he has done as a player, which has always been the most important thing to him.
He did. He more than held his own. I think there was quite a few doubts as well, whether he would still be up to it at his age, against some of the top players he would have been against. But he more than did that, and I think he was one of Burnley's better players in some games. So yeah, fantastic. I think he's only being used sparingly these days, but you get the feeling he still feels he's got something to offer.
I know you were saying that you were a bit of a rebel in your youth. You didn't discover pasta till you were about 24 years old. But now you're an athlete. You eat all the right things. You keep yourself going. But I tell you what, there's some cake to get through.
I know. Yeah, it's amazing. Things like that. It's great. But yeah, listen, I was. If you ask my managers from the start of my career, what a great professional. Everyone calls me, and it's not the same person. Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my life. And it was part of the game back then. Going out for a beer with the boys and then. I didn't really need a good diet. I've always been a pretty skinny thing, you know what I mean? So, and I could always run about, So I didn't really see the reason for it. But, coming into my 30s, I knew I had to do something because I got a bit scared of stopping, and I thought I want to give myself the best chance of keeping on playing and enjoying the game that I love. And so I decided, it was a personal decision to make sure that I'll give myself every chance. And there's been managers along the way that have tried to push me that way. Maybe in my younger days I sort of rebelled against it and said I didn't need it, but as I went on, I think the penny finally dropped, and I had to sort myself out and do whatever I could to be on that green stuff.
You got your crystal ball out. Is Greza going to pick up the trophy at Wembley, playoff trophy? Just if it is the finale, what a way to go.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, you look at the league now, obviously automatic's gone. There's about five clubs all vying for one playoff spot. So not only might we have the stress of the playoffs again, which none of us can stand, although we'd like to, we have the stress of all fighting for this spot. It's just one game at a time now, isn't it? But, with people like Greza in the dressing room and Burnley bombing on as they have done in the last 2 games, you don't know. It's all there for the taking. But I had Eddie Howe and Jason on my programme the other week, and for me, since they came in, it's always been about next season. So I just think whatever we get this year's a bonus.
And if we get to Wembley, what a man we'd have to call on us. I would hate it to go to penalty shootout. I don't think I'd go better to watch, but if it went that far, what a man you'd have.
Well, there's none better, is there? So you look back at the likes of Letizia, people like that, there is none better. I read a quote with Sean Gregan saying, he was as good as turning back to the halfway line. You wrote it in your notebook. Alexander scores, simple as that.
Alexander against Tomlinson, and Alexander scores, sends the keeper the wrong way. Great finish from the penalty spot. Tomlinson no chance, read it wrong. Alexander right back in form, and that's a great finish from the skipper. He's 4th of the season.
I suppose finally, Graham, it'd be remiss of me not. I heard you mention it a few times today. The season's drawing to a close. I know there's a contract clause there for a coaching role at Burnley. But what's the future hold for Graham Alexander?
I really don't know. If I knew, I'd be honest with everyone. I'd say I've got that clause in my contract, but it's something I have to discuss with the manager. How he sees that role becoming relevant next year, and see what's out there. I might have options and some I might not. I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind at the time. At the moment, I'm concentrating on trying to get into the team, trying to help the team get in the playoffs and win promotion, and then I'm gonna have to make a decision. But it's a hard one for me because I've still got the fire burning. I still want to play football, but I have to also think about what's best for my career going on after playing. And I want to be in this game for as long as I possibly can. I want to be a coach and a manager, so I might have to take that into consideration and sacrifice something else. It's one of them where I've got to weigh up everything that could happen to me and make a decision. I'm gonna talk to people who I know and trust and take their opinions, but at the end of the day it comes down to me and what I want to do, and hopefully it will turn out for the best, whatever it is. But I've just boxed that off for now. I'm going to wait until May 31st, hopefully.
I like the sound of that.
Hopefully, and then make a decision after that.
Well, listen, there's room for more haircuts on that board yet.
Yeah,
there's plenty of time yet.
Yeah.
Greza, congratulations from everybody at Burnley Football Club. Hope there's many more games to come.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.